It's time for another musical interlude. Let's get started. Talking with people with music in their genes, their blood, and in their soul. You are watching Musical Interlude. Hello and welcome to another episode of Musical Interlude. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's guest is one half of the legendary hip-hop duo tag team, DC Glenn. Let's get the show started. We know you from tag team, and I know for myself, I could never be a rapper. It's not a gift I have. When did you first notice and acknowledge that gift?
Actually, probably around like 18 years old, because tag team used to be 3 people, right? And one of the members, he went to the services, right? So I was the DJ, and then I was like, well, we start writing some lyrics, and I started writing lyrics and started rapping and got really good at it. And it was just me and Steve after that. And I just started writing like crazy. I mean, I've got 20 books full of rhymes over the years, right? And it was kind of an unexpected thing because I've always been a DJ. And once I started rapping, I was hooked and just got better and better and better at it. So, I mean, you know, I didn't have any background in rapping, and this was at the beginning of hip hop. So I just went with it and got rhyme books and just tried to write interesting storytelling in rap form, and just ended up being a decent rapper.
And when did you realize you weren't going to do this as a hobby, but you were going to try your best to make this a full-time job, a gig that you do for a living?
Probably in college, because I was DJing at all the parties in college, and then I was rapping on the side, and then my boy Johnny Z, who's produced In Too Deep, Back to the Hotel. You might have heard that record before. He had bought. We were college. We lived on the same floor in the dorms, and he had bought a 4-track. And he was like, "Man, I don't know what to do with this thing." And I was like, "Let me hold it for a couple of days," and I learned how to use it. And that was the beginning of me making songs. And another friend of mine had an 808, and I was like, "Let me use your 808." He's like, "You crazy?" But he said, "You can come over here and make some beats." So I made about 10 beats, put it on the 4-track cassette, and then just tried to do my best to fill those songs up with good material and raps and everything. And I ended up making 10 songs. And I sent them to Steve, and Steve thought I was in the devil worship, right? And, he was like, "But I get it though, right?" Because it was creativity and it was stuff that he had never heard before. So he went and bought one. So now we're throwing mixtapes back and forth from California to Denver, and we just got better at making music, right? And when I would come home for spring break or whatever, we'd be in the studio the whole time making records. So, I mean, we've been doing this since we were, like 18 years old, and, this is back in the 80s. So, we've been influenced by every form of culture there is, and we understand what we're doing. And we've been very blessed to, after 28 years, still be relevant in this culture, right? So, I can't say anything, but I'm just happy to be blessed, and I'm glad I chose that path.
So what encouraged you to choose the path? Because so many people talk about their dreams and chasing their dreams, but no one actually does it. Right. So what caused you to walk that dream?
Everybody has a choice, right? Everybody has a choice. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. And if that's what you wanted to do, nothing can stop you. That's life. So even if it's not going good, you still keep going. You can't quit. Like right now, I started acting 3 years ago, and I know I'm never going to quit. Or do voiceover. I know I'm never going to quit. So once you start something and you know you're never going to quit, you eventually get there. It's about the moves that you make as you're doing it that get you to the promised land. And if you acquire skills, are tenacious, don't give up, try to think outside the box, hone your other talents, you can get there. And I'm proof of that, because I've been a DJ, but there's certain things as a DJ I know that other artists don't know. You know what I'm saying? As far as listening to all different styles of music and being able to play all different styles of music and seeing how people react in the clubs and seeing how people react at concerts or wherever. And I've gotten very good at that over the years. And, you know, I had a good DJ career. You know, I retired in 2015 and became an actor and a voice artist. So now I'm on the verge of breaking through in that industry because I never give up when I decide I want to do something. I see it through. So my best advice is just can never quit and keep educating yourself.
So how did you and Steve get into the music business? There's still no school or no books really that teach you how to do that. How did you know how to get into that?
Actually, there is. Actually, we met in high school, 11th grade, and he was in the band. I was in the choir, you know, the choir ensemble, and he had a band, and I wanted to be in his band. And it took me about 2 months before they let me in the band. And we would go do gigs all over Colorado, and we were called the business band. So that was school right there. You know, if you play an instrument or you can play something good or you can sing and you understand what your instrument is and you're seeking some type of mastery over it, eventually you become better than you were yesterday. And if you can accelerate that process, that's what creates mastery at certain things. And we became very masterful at just me getting gigs and taking care of the business side of it, but also singing, and Steve playing the drums, and just us being tenacious and wanting to be successful. And that's what drives you, you know. And if that don't drive you, I mean, because you can learn, there's not one way to learn things, right? So you got to go with your own flow. You got to stay in your own lane. And that was at the beginning of hip hop. So everything was wide open. There was always new avenues to explore. It was wild, you know, a new frontier. So, I mean, it's just, you have to make up, everybody has a choice. I keep saying that, but it's true. Everybody has a choice. And you can choose to never quit or you can choose to give up. And most of society chooses to, okay, I tried it, but I'm gonna go do something else. And then you just end up trying things in life and never succeeding at anything. So can't give up.
So when you saw yourself on the charts for Whoop, There It Is, what was
Mm-hmm.
your initial response and reaction?
Wow, that's fast. Because I mean, it went from me working at Magic City Club, you know, to sign a contract to a month and a half on platinum, right? In the spring of 1993. And to see that we were #1 on the R&B charts and Billboard, now that was very, very, very gratifying. So, but I'm a humble guy and I don't seek stardom, right? So it didn't affect me like it affects other people. Sure, I was happy, but at that point, you know, it's time to put in work because there's more to achieve. And it's never over. You got to always keep striving to be better and better and better and better. And the minute you stop is the minute that once your record's not hot, well, what did you do while your record was hot to prepare for when it wasn't hot? But when you're a young man, you think that you're invincible and that your record's going to last forever. Your career is going to last forever. And life has a way of beating you down and saying, it doesn't work that way, dude. And it's up to you to either give up or get up and go do something about it, you know, and just keep grinding. So I know that's always been my stilo, always will be my stilo. I'm a hustler. I can't help it. I love to work. My parents raised me well. I'm sorry. You know, it just I've been, you know, stemming collard greens and shucking peas since I was 5 years old. My parents made me work, and I'm so grateful that they did that because I don't fear work. I don't fear manual labor. I'll go get a job if I had to. I don't care, right? It's just nothing but work. So if you put in the work, you will be rewarded. And that's what I learned as a child as well. You know, they'd be like, go shovel that snow. But, you know, my entrepreneurial spirit is like, okay, we got a snow blower. We're the only one on the block have a snow blower. Let me go do everybody's driveway and get this money. So whenever it snowed, I would be praying for snow so I could go get this money, right? In the fall, all the leaves are going to fall no matter what. Let me go get this money. I do ours first, make my father happy. Then I go get the money from everybody else. You know what I mean? Or anything else I could do. Oh, you need your garden dug up? I got you, Mrs. Grant. You know, and dig up the garden and get that money. And if we didn't do something, didn't do our chores, well, can't watch TV tonight, or you can't play football. The things that you love to do, you couldn't do. So they taught me early that there's reward from hard work and there's consequences from not doing the work. And it was embedded in me, and it's always been with me.
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to Tag Team?
What do you mean?
When you disbanded?
We never disbanded.
Oh, okay.
See, that's okay. But you know what? Because that's the narrative, right? That's the narrative of artists who've had big records that you seem like they just. Me and Steve, we brothers. I've known him since high school, so we've always been in this together. It's just that we was in a lawsuit for 20 years too, right? So we got to deal with that. And when you get in a lawsuit with 2 record companies, then your career is on hold, and then you got to fight. And then you realize you can't fight 2 record companies. And then you just have to kind of sit back and go to your life and try to be better and just get ready for your day in court. And we've always been doing shows. We've always been doing appearances. We always been getting royalty checks. So it's never been like that. I mean, you think, you know, in the 2000s, I would think, okay, this is it. It's almost over. It's almost over. And then here comes Elf. Right? You know what I'm saying? And then it's over, it's almost over. Here comes another movie. Here comes a commercial. Here comes this. Here comes that. Then I realized that I had a forever hit record. So it's up to me to generate money off of a forever hit record. And it takes time to do that. You know, I have to become my own everything. I have to become my own marketing. I have to become my own booking agent. I have to become my own publicist. I have to become my own everything, because nobody knows it better than I do. I have to become my own paralegal, right? And, you know, I've always been a DJ. So I've DJed in the biggest clubs in Atlanta. So we were doing things. It's just, we're not the star type dudes, right? We don't crave attention and to be in the spotlight and to be in the public eye like that. We'd rather move in stealth. And then when something big comes, then we're prepared to deal with it. But other than that, I don't have to be a star. Just give me the money. You know, I'm a hustler, man. I can't do it no other way. And I see, you know, I grew up seeing how people become stars, treat people bad, and then they fall off, and then nobody likes you no more. And I vowed that I'd never be that dude. And that's why we get such respect, because everybody knows that we're the same from day one to now. And I know that people appreciate that. So no, we never disbanded, brother.
Okay, sorry for that.
Yeah. No, you're good. Because I mean, think about it. If you're not in everybody's mouth all the time, people don't know what to think, right? Yeah. And it's like, nah, this is for life, for real.
Well, I know one thing about America, and particularly they have, because I know I was watching an interview with Tina Turner, and the interviewer asked her, "Why did you leave America?" And she said, "Because Europe loves me more than America. I didn't have to keep coming out with new albums. I didn't have to keep being relevant, so to speak, for them to keep loving me. Whereas America, you have to." That's why I truly believe a lot of celebrities do stupid things on purpose, just so they can be in the news, just to be relevant.
Man, that's who wants attention. Like, if you need attention that bad, I can't help. Can't nobody help you, right? Like, I don't need attention that bad. I'm a DJ. I'm gonna get. You put yourself in leadership positions, you'll get all the attention you want. Not trying, right? But I never really want attention. I'm cool just being me. And, you know, that just comes from a great upbringing, coming from being taught by 2 incredible parents that you are enough. And I've never had any problems with who I am. Or, you know, my father told me when There It Is came out, he was like, "Son," he said, "enjoy all this, but don't let it run you. Don't chase it. Because when you start chasing it, that's when everything comes apart. Never let it run you, right? Just enjoy it now. And then once it fades, let it fade, but never chase it." And I remembered that. And I didn't chase it, right? And, you know, it served me well. Now, I'm not chasing acting or voiceover. I'm trying to be a working actor. I'm trying to be a working voice artist. I'm not trying to be a star. I'm trying to work. You know what I mean? And that's what I love to do. So You just have to switch the way you think about things. But I'm lucky enough to have grown up in a time where you had to dial on the phone to now where you got a cell phone, right? Because those old school remedies still apply today. And the one thing I have over a lot of people in this society is experience. And that's something these young cats will never have, right? So I don't hate on the youth for being young. I embrace it. But, a lot of us that are my age are old, they get bitter about young people. Why they messing up hip hop? Why this? Why that? And you can never hate on the young people for being young. You need to learn what they do and then just put it in your pocket and you'll know. You know what I'm saying? And it's not their responsibility to chase us and give us praise for that we laid the groundwork for them. Like we're parents. They wouldn't even know how to ask us about the stuff that we do, right? Or we did. And just like we wouldn't, they don't want to make music like us, just like we didn't want to make music like Chubby Checker and Marvin Gaye. And you know what I mean? Not that it was all that was great music, but we had our own thing, right? So you can't, everything changes. And I try to tell people, I was like, look, everything's going to change. There's nothing that stays the same after 30 years.
Right.
There's nothing that stays the same after 3 years. So why are you wishing you had a time machine to go back when you right here and you got experience? And it goes back to, we all have a choice. You can sit here and be bitter at young kids for nothing. Or you can say, let me look forward and see what's out in the future that I can get before everybody else gets it and master it. And now I got it forever. You got the right one with me because I'm gonna spit game to you all day. I'm trying to tell you, because I've been through it. You know what I mean? I've been through all the emotions and all that heartache and all that pain and all that suffering and all that fear. But you know what? I use it. Put it in my pocket and I use it. That's my fuel. That's my fuel to be a better man than I was yesterday. And that's what I live by. So everybody else will do what they want to do. I'm gonna go get this money. Period.
Great. Mm-hmm. So how did you and Steve end up doing the Geico commercial? How did that invitation happen?
I do SEO. I'm a search engine optimization specialist. I build websites. And 2012, Barack, I got a call at work from a New York Times reporter. And I'm like, I'm at work. I'm DJing in the club. Record about to go off. Call me at this number in the morning. And she called me. She's like, Gawker they did an article that Barack Obama was in your video, right? And the whole world blew up. And it was like, nobody could find me. And I was like, that has to change. And from that day forth, I was like, from here on out, people will be able to find us because we didn't have a web presence. I was brand new with social media. You know what I mean? It was like podcasting was kind of new. So it's like, all right, I got it now. And I just started on my SEO journey, learning how to build websites, learning how the internet worked, learning about keywords and learning about how to place yourself and how to write blogs and all that stuff, right? And fast forward today, I leave great breadcrumbs. 5 years ago, you type in tag team, it's all wrestling. You type in tag team today, it's all tag team, right? So because I'm an actor, voice artist, and all these, I know how to fill out my profiles to where they rank, right? They're on the first page of Paces, right? So Geico calls the tag team phone because we got the number on the website for a specific phone. I didn't answer it because I don't really answer that phone that much, but I leave it where they can leave a message. And I didn't check the messages and I get a call from my agent. So what happened is that Geico saw my IMDb as an actor, called my acting agent, and was like, we want to book the tag team for this. And then my agent called me, she's like, Geico booked you. And I'm like, no, they didn't, because I didn't audition for Geico, right? And she was like, yes, they did. I just talked to them. They want to book you guys. You got, oh, tag team? Word. And then it was like, yes, a Geico commercial, because I know what that means, right? That's top of the food chain right there. And I went back, checked my messages, and sure enough, Geico had called us. And I let my agents make the deal, and they did a wonderful job of securing everything. And the rest is history. From that day, I started preparing because I'm an actor. And you know, I knew that I had to bring elements to that commercial to make it great. I had to. So I said, I'm gonna put together about 8 things that I can ask the director, can we do? One was the spin and scoop. One was the sprinkles, the little dance step, the interaction with all the other characters that came naturally. All the other actors that came naturally. We just really gelled together. But for me, when they told me it was about ice cream, that took me back to my childhood when my father used to make us ice cream, and he would make the ingredients, put it in the little thing, and then we'd have to crank it, right? And 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and then we've got ice cream. And that just make me so happy, right? So I brought that essence to the commercial. And then I know every child around the world loves sprinkles. So I gotta have sprinkles. So just in different variations. And then there's a little 2-step that we do down here down south. So I knew everybody would know what I was doing, and they'd be like, they represent it. And these are the little nuances that catapulted this television commercial to feel like a hit record, to be honest with you. And, you know, right now we're probably the #1 commercial in the country, you know, just like being #1 on the Billboard charts. And I, you know, usually I'd be talking to you from a hotel room, but because of the pandemic, there are no shows, right? But I was not going to sit back and just be happy I had a Geico commercial. So I became my own PR firm. And because I took because I took the choice, because I made a choice that I'm not going to just sit back. I'm going to take advantage of everything that I can. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but I'm going to lay the seeds, and I'm going to make sure that everybody knows that I'm an actor and everybody knows I'm a voice artist. That's why this is all why we're sitting here on a Sunday talking, right? Because I found you, or you found me. We found each other, right? And that's because I took it upon myself to make sure that I could be found. And now I do 5 or 6 podcasts or interviews or whatever a day. And I'm going to keep doing it because it's practice. It's killing 14 birds with one stone. I'm practicing articulation for voiceover. I'm practicing storytelling. I'm practicing just being able to speak and answer tough questions or into different audiences, and to be ambidextrous in everything that I do. And I just love to run my mouth. I'm sorry, right? And I learn more through talking, right? I'm figuring things out as we speak. And that right there is the funnest part to me, because it's like every time I do this, I get more ideas, I implement them, and just this constant laying of seeds over the years, you know, has been incredible for me, because now I'm standing in a forest of opportunity, right? And if I'm not ready for it, it's my fault. Once again, goes back to the choice, right? So everybody has a choice. You know, pandemic was the best thing that could ever happen to me. It was tragic because I lost people. We had to all go through it, but it made everybody stop and take stock of what was important. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And I'm like, I'm doing voiceover. And I went back to the beginning and I reinvented myself. And I got better and better and better. And I took the time that we had off, and it morphed into this, right? And everybody's sitting around waiting for it to be where it used to be. And I'm like, it's never going to come back. I said, there's a whole new frontier out there. And if you can get in your own lane, nobody's there, because this is all new. So you can write your own ticket. If there's something you've always wanted to do in your life, you could do. That's why I said, you know what? I am not going to leave this earth regretting anything. I wish I had learned how to do music like this, or I wish I had did this, or I wish I had did that. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do everything I've ever wanted to do, and I'm doing it, right? All my actress friends, they get mad at me because I say, man, I want to do this and I want to do this. Like, DC, you are doing it. You don't even get it. I'm like, no. I say that like that because it keeps me humble, and it keeps me working hard, right? And there's a thing about self-gratification. I don't need to self-gratify myself to make myself feel good. The harder I work, the better I feel. I love the challenge, right? So If I conquer one thing, what's the next thing that's even harder? Because that's what it's about. And it's about just solutions. When you conquer something, you've made a solution for that problem, because it's a problem in a lot of other people's lives, but it's a solution in my life. And now I've moved forward to the next problem and made a solution for that. And every time I do that, I get more and I'm blessed more. So like I said, it's a choice. Why would you not choose to just go hard? You know, you still get your rest. You still try to eat right. You still do the things that you're supposed to do as a human being, but go hard. You can do anything you want to do. I'm proof, right? You know, I got a song that's been a hit for 28 years. How is that possible? I'm not gonna argue, right? I'm not gonna argue at all, but it's happened. And if it stopped right now, Tag Team has had the perfect career because we started strong and we ended strong. So
what advice can you give someone to choose themselves, to go out there and actually do it and not keep using excuses to stop themselves? What advice would you give someone?
there's a couple things, right? Excuses. I try to put people on game all the time, and they give me excuses. And I'm like, when I tell them, you've given me every excuse why you shouldn't do something and not one excuse why you should. So the next time you find yourself giving yourself excuses, stop and think, let me give a reason why I should, and run with that reason. Always be thinking about the reasons that you should do something. I get up every day and half the stuff that I do in a day, I do not want to do, but I do it anyway, right? It's like going to the gym. Like if you just like, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. And you go to the gym and you drag yourself to the gym. And once you're there, you start working out and you know, okay, all right. Now you pumping, now you good. And then when you leave, you be like, man, I am glad I went to the gym, right? Because you did it anyway. And that's how life is. So when you're giving excuses for why you can't do something, just come up with one excuse why you can and start there, you know? And like I said, you just have to, another part of it is learning how to learn, right? So there's 100 ways to learn things. Why are you just trying to read a book? Or why do you think you just have to do this or you just have to do that, right? Like if I get a long email or if I get something I have to read and I don't feel like reading it, well, I got 4 other ways to get that content into my brain to where I understand it and retain it. I can either take it and throw it in the AI software. Now text to speech is reading to me, right? It's reading to me. I'm checking other stuff, playing around, doing whatever, but it's reading to me. It's starting to get in my head. Oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute. All right. But then I'm like, now I'm looking at it. Now I'm starting to read with it while it's reading to me and retaining more information. Learn how to learn, right? If you get stuck on something or if there's anything you want to learn how to do, there is an organization or a society full of professionals that have been doing it 10, 20, 30, 40 years that's willing to run their mouth to you and teach you, right? You joined, like I was trying to get us shows about 5 years ago. And all the booking agents was like, you only got one song and what have you done for me lately? And I'm like, all right. And I went and joined the organization, International Entertainment Buyers Association. This association is where the buyers for all the concerts are, right? So you have your hierarchy. You have the buyers who put on the concerts. Then you have the venues, which are the stadiums and the arenas. Then you have your top tier of your booking agents, which is Live Nation and booking agents of that caliber. Then you have your secondary tier, which are your mom and pops. They book, and then you have your managers, and then you have the artists. I go to their convention and I knock out all the people in the middle. Now I'm talking to the buyers saying, hey, nice to meet you. Tag Team, DC the Brain Supreme. We're a clean 90s nostalgia rap group. Here's my card. If you're ever interested in a clean rap group, we do a great show. All of a sudden, 1 show here, 2 shows there, 5 shows there. We get on a tour, right? Now we're doing 30 shows a year, right? Because I went and hustled. I made a choice that I wasn't going to let people that told me no stopped me, and I was going to figure it out. And all I can tell you, join an organization. Beginning of this Geico commercial, I know I wasn't going to be able to do nothing, but I was like, what can I do? So I started making press releases. It's like, I'm going to do press releases. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a publicist. Try to get a publicist. Publicist like, well, it's a pandemic. It's not really a movie premiere. We don't know how to do it. We don't want to waste your money. I was like, cool. So I went and joined the organization. The, what's it called? I want to say press release. Public Relations Society of America. And they've got resources. Teach you how to be a publicist. I get on a Zoom call 2 days after I sign up, and it's a CEO of this PR firm. And I raise my hand on the Zoom. I say, hey, our press release is relevant. And I know they are, but I do this to get validation for the moves that I make, right? And that's another thing too. Just beat the bushes, find professionals to have conversations with them so they can validate your moves. If they validate your moves, like, that's a good idea, you know, you're moving in the right direction. So I get on the Zoom, it's like, our press release is relevant. And she goes, well, what's it for? I was like, well, I'm kind of featured in a Geico commercial. Scoop, there it is. And I'm looking at the chat. It's like, oh my God, wait a minute, what? That's my favorite commercial. My kids love that commercial. My dog loves that commercial. My grand loves that commercial. Oh my God. And the chat done blew up, right? And the moderator sees this, is like, DC, like to welcome DC to the club. And we're going to talk about that Geico commercial afterward. But back to DC's question, is press releases relevant? And the press was like, yes, because for the last year, everybody's used up their content. Movies, television, all the content's used up. And any content that's being made new is what? About COVID. Everything is doom and gloom. COVID or politics, and everybody was tired, right? And I have this good, fun time, feel good story of redemption, resurrection, whatever you want to call it. I've been doing this. But if you want to use that narrative, let's roll. Because every narrative is a good narrative, right? Because it's something that somebody else created about you that you can either take the time and curate and dispel, or take the time and embrace it, and it makes you look more it makes you look more real, right? It makes you look more like, your humanity shows through, right? So she was like, that's the perfect way to do it. And then you also want to go here for all the reporters, go here to get in front of the journalists. You want your pitches to be like this. You want to do this for all the podcasts. You want to get in front of your talk shows. You want to get in front of this, boom, 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 boom. And then you should be fine. She gave me the whole game in 10 minutes, all because I made a choice not to listen to those publicists who said they couldn't do it, but went and found an organization full of publicists that taught me how to do it with just a fee of membership. Now I go to these things all the time, and I go into clubhouses and people pull me in their rooms to talk about what I've done in 3 months. I become my own PR firm in 3 months. I built my own relationships. Me and you are building a relationship right now. You might be the greatest podcast dude ever in 2 years. And because me and you were just talking, you're going to call me back, right? You just never know. And it's about just trying to touch the world and feed this positivity to people. And that week, it was on a Wednesday, I dropped that press release. And the next day, I'm on the Dan Patrick Show on Fox. #1 sports show in the morning, dang near, right? And I'm like, this works. 2 weeks from there, I'm on Tamron Hall, ABC, right? Now I'm working on Ellen, Kelly Clarkson's show, anything else I want. Because all you got to do is put yourself in front of people and let them see that you hustling. You don't got to ask them for no handout. You put yourself in front of them and make sure they see you hustling, working hard, going the extra mile. And because I know if I see somebody hustling, I'm like, boy, that joker hustling. There's something about seeing people try to get it, no matter what, that you want to help them. And people will help you, right? So now I spend my days, every day I get up, I do 5 podcasts or interviews. I'm trying to do because now, and think about it. This wouldn't be possible if it wasn't a pandemic. Now everything's Zoom. I would have to fly to New York or fly to LA to be on them shows. Now I can be on any show I want to because I can do it from a beautiful backdrop in Zoom with a beautiful mic and a beautiful webcam and just sit here and let everybody see my glowing skin and spit game to them. You know what I'm saying? So you can create your own narrative, but you got to be thinking outside of the box. You cannot be given excuses for everything because excuses, it don't make no sense. There's always a reason you should do something, right? And let me tell you something. People give me ideas all the time and I dismiss them, but I'm still listening. You know, my boy was like, hey man, you got to get the numbers from Geico, man. I'm interested to see, you know, what your value proposition is. He started, you know, all this corporate speak. I knew what he was talking about, but I'm like, man, I ain't about to do that. I said, you tripping, dude. I ain't about to get I can't get no numbers from Guy. I'm about to call them folks and be like, give me your numbers. They'll look at me like I'm crazy. But I was like, but I can try to go to the people who give them their data. So now I'm having meetings with Nielsen. I'm having meetings with iSpot TV. I'm having meetings with the biggest companies in the television game that monitor commercials and give the big companies, these Fortune 500 companies, data. And now we're having Zoom meetings and they're teaching me while they're pitching me, right? You got to have meetings with people so they can teach you while they're pitching you. I do that with everything. I did that with hedge funds. Back in the early 2000s, I was like, because I'm a licensed commodities broker. I said, nobody will ever be able to take money from me again. So I got into finance. Licensed commodity broker. I'm like, I got a hedge fund. You know, I started flying all over the country to all these meetings with hedge fund managers. And I'm like, why should I let you manage my hedge fund? Because I know I can get Charles Barkley, I can get Deion Sanders, I can get all these people to invest. But why should I use you guys? They're like, well, first of all, we're a big fan, DC. Okay, cool. But why should I use you? Well, we, consistently we have numbers like this, but boom, 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 boom. And now they just spill it. And they don't even know they're teaching me the game because they're pitching me. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that is how you learn. It's called learning how to learn, right? And I've gotten very good at it. So if I hit a brick wall on something, I will go join an organization and find people who do it well. And the people that do it well will teach me how to do it properly. And then because I've got a hustle muscle that is out of this world, I'm going to take it, run with it, make it my own, and then I'm going to be successful because I took the time to think differently and I didn't make excuses and I just put it out there. This is not quid pro quo. This is not, okay, if I do this, this better happen. No, that's not what this is. I mean, if you plant a seed in the dirt, are you going to sit down in front of that seed, cross your legs and be like, okay, seed, grow seed. It's not growing. Why ain't the seed growing? Man, I quit. Seed don't work. It's like, because everybody wants it quick, right? You plant that seed and it's in your mind. It's on your mind. Week later, you'd be like, let me see what's up with that seed. Let me throw some water on it, nurture it a little bit. Now it's a sprout, right? Then you forget about it even more. And you just keep planting seeds. There might be seeds I planted 5 years ago. Now they're trees with big, fat, juicy apples on them. And they said, okay, I'm ready for you now. And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that tree. And that tree is an opportunity or a skill that you've been working on all these years that serves you in the moment you're at now because you need that skill. You do that over the course of your life, you will never be out of a job. You'll never be out of money. You'll always have food on your table and you will live a healthy, wealthy life. But if you make it excuses, it's not going to happen. You just can't do it like that.
For more information about DC Glenn, go to tagteambackagain.com. For bookings, call 470-381-8370. Find them on social media. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I want to thank our guests, DC, Glenn, and of course you, the audience, for viewing this video. Thank you so much. Have a great day.